Good morning. Before we begin the public hearing, I will make the following announcement. Due to the continuing threat of public health from the COVID-19 virus, City Council committees are currently meeting remotely. We are using Microsoft Teams to make these remote hearings possible. Instructions for how the public may view and offer public testimony at public hearings of council committees are included in public hearing notices that are published in the Daily News, Inquirer, and Legal Intelligencer prior to the hearings and can be also found on phlcouncil.com. I now know that the hour has come and we'll have the clerk please call the roll to take attendance. Members that are in attendance, please indicate that you are present when your name is called. And also, please say a few brief words when responding so that your image will be displayed on screen as you speak. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Bass,
Present.
Councilmember Gaudier,
Madam Chair and colleagues present.
Councilmember Brooks,
Good morning, Madam Chair and colleagues. I'm present.
Councilmember Harity,
Present. Good morning.
Councilmember Johnson, Councilmember Jones,
Good morning, Madam Chair, colleagues. I'm present.
and Councilmember Thomas.
Okay, well, thank you. A quorum of the committee is present and the hearing is now called to order. This is the public hearing of the Committee on Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs regarding bills number 220914 and 220972. Mr. Clerk, will you please read the title of the bills?
Bill number 220914, an ordinance to as the Hillside Recreation Center located at 201 Fountain Street as the Lonnie Cohen Recreation Center in the city of Philadelphia. Bill number 2, Bill number 220972, an ordinance amending an ordinance, Bill number 877, approved September 16th, 1994 by amending an exhibit thereto in order to increase the limit of the amount of funding any entity may receive in any fiscal year from the Philadelphia Activities Fund.
Thank you. Before we begin to hear testimony from the witnesses we have for today, everyone who has been invited to the meeting to testify should be aware that this public hearing is being recorded. Because the hearing is public, participants and viewers have no reasonable expectation of privacy. By continuing to be in the meeting, you are consenting to being recorded. Additionally, prior to recognizing members for the questions or comments they have for witnesses, I will note for the record at this time that we will use the chat feature available in Microsoft Teams to allow members to signify that they wish to be recognized. In order to comply with the Sunshine Act, the chat feature must only be used for this purpose. And we can now call witnesses to bill number 220914. Mr. Clerk, will you please call the first panel of witnesses to testify regarding bill number 220914.
Okay, first up, we have Aparna Palantino from the Departments of Parks and Recreation.
Very good. And actually, before we hear from Ms. Palantino, I am going to ask if the bill sponsor would like to say a few words.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just briefly, Mr. Cohen served in the rec department for over 30 years. Unfortunately, 2 years ago, he actually passed away in his office at the center.
Oh.
His dedication to young people was known citywide. He ran a citywide soccer program. He advocated for that center. There were leaks in the roof and things like that that he called elected officials up, pointed out, showed the buckets on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
And so his advocacy lives long beyond him. And to honor him by changing the name of the Hillside Rec Center, I think is truly appropriate. His sister is one of the people who will testify today. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Councilman. And with that, we thank you for sponsoring this or authoring this bill today. Ms. Palantino, please state your name for the record and proceed with your testimony.
Aparna Palantino, Deputy Commissioner, Philadelphia Parks and Rec. Good morning, Chairperson Bass and members of the Committee on Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs. My name is Aparna Palantino, and I have the privilege of serving as Deputy Commissioner for the Department of Parks and Recreation. I'm here today to testify in support of Bill number 220914, an ordinance renaming and designating the property commonly referred to as Hillside Recreation Center, located at 201 Fountain Street, as the Lonnie Cohen Recreation Center in the city of Philadelphia. Lonnie Cohen was born and raised in Northeast Philadelphia and spent a large part of his youth participating in soccer, basketball, and baseball. Lonnie's love for sports never waned as he got older, and his passion for athletics eventually led him to a career with the Philadelphia Park and Rec Department. Over the course of his 25 years with us, Lonnie worked at various recreation centers throughout the city, spending his last years as leader at Hillside Recreation Center. Lonnie was the acting commissioner for Philadelphia Parks and Recreation Youth Soccer Program. Throughout his years of dedication to the city of Philadelphia, Lonnie also served as the chair of the city's outdoor soccer program and as a member of the executive team for the Blue Cross Broad Street Run and the Philadelphia Marathon. Lonnie also volunteered his time to help organize many Mummers Day parades. Lonnie will always be remembered by his colleagues, friends, and family as an advocate for the betterment of the residents of our city through providing rewarding sports outlets to the children that played under his watchful eye. The Department of Parks and Recreation also supports this measure, and accordingly, I respectfully request that City Council approve Bill number 220914. I'm also requesting a suspension of the rules so as to follow for first reading at the next session of Council. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you for your testimony. Any questions from members of council? Any questions? I don't see any. Is there anyone else here then to testify? I'll ask the clerk if there is anyone else to testify to please call their name forward.
Madam Chair, we have one more speaker, Jody Levine.
Is Ms. Levin available?
I am. Can you hear me?
I certainly can. Please state your name for the record and proceed with your testimony.
My name is Jody Levine, and I am the sister of Lonnie Cohen.
Hello, Jody.
This is more emotional than I thought it would be. First of all, I want to thank you for this opportunity, Madam Chairperson and everyone on this council. Ms. Palantino took a lot of what I was going to say, but I did submit a written statement, and if I could just read that,
Sure.
It would be easier for me because of the emotion. For me, it would be easier to read it.
Absolutely.
So I thank you very much for your time. My name is Jody Levine, and Lonnie Cohen was my baby brother. Thank you for the opportunity to offer both written and now oral testimony in support of renaming the Hillside Recreational Center in Lonnie's honor. My brother was born and raised in Northeast Philadelphia, and growing up, his life revolved around youth soccer, basketball, and baseball, playing with the Boston Bengals at the time. Lonnie's passion for youth sports made him a natural fit for a career with Philadelphia Parks and Recreation. He was employed by PPR for almost 25 years, and in those many years, he worked as a rec leader at Longcrest, Columbus Square, Concessing, Waterview in Northwest, and lastly at Hillside and Manayunk/Roxborough area. Lonnie resided in the Roxborough-Manayunk area all his adult life. So when he landed at Hillside, he told us he felt like he was home. What a gift it was for him to be doing what he loved and for connecting with the community in which he lived. From the beginning of his employment until the day of his death, his desire to effect positive change and make each recreation center the best place for each child to thrive became his driving force. And what a force it was. He was a fearless advocate for those he believed in and for bringing quality programs to the communities in which he worked, such as roller hockey, foot hockey, youth basketball, girls softball, dance, yoga, and of course, indoor and outdoor soccer. His colleagues have shared with me that whether he was a subject matter expert in the program, such as soccer, or if he was learning about a program and its operations for the first time, such as dance, Lonnie fought tirelessly to bring Hillside and all his many partner communities the programming they needed, wanted, and so richly deserved. Lonnie was larger than life at PPR. He was smart, compassionate to both his staff and the families with whom he was entrusted, dedicated, and hardworking. He served the city of Philadelphia for close to 25 years with honor and pride. His work as a rec center leader, PPR soccer chair of the city's outdoor soccer programs, longtime member of the executive team for the Blue Cross Broad Street Run, the Philadelphia Marathon, and many Members Day parades, earned him the respect of colleagues and friends throughout the city. The impact of his passing is palpable. He is missed by so many of his friends and colleagues throughout PPR, as well as the families at Hillside, many of whom have told me when faced with a work dilemma or situation, they ask themselves the following: WWLD, what would Lonnie do? And Lonnie's impact on youth soccer in Philadelphia cannot be overlooked. He was an impressive advocate in creating opportunities for kids to play, learn, and love soccer during his stellar career in PPR. Lonnie died suddenly and unexpectedly on July 21st, 2021, at his desk at his Hillside office in the place he called home, working at a job he adored, surrounded by the people in the community that he loved and who loved him right back. While his years were short, what he did with those years has left an indelible mark. As Lonnie's family, we were overwhelmed by the outpouring of love and support we received from friends, his colleagues, the Hillside Rec Center families, and the entire PPR community following his death. We were inundated with phone calls, texts, emails, visits, letters, and social media posts, letting us know just how special Lonnie was to them and to the PPR and specifically Hillside Rec Center communities. Our family wanted Lonnie's legacy of dedication and commitment to the youth of Philadelphia to endure. We thought the best way to do this was to establish a scholarship fund in his name that would provide grants, scholarships, and other opportunities directly to the PPR youth soccer organizations and participants. To that end, we established the Lonnie Cohen Memorial Scholarship Fund, a registered nonprofit 501c3 entity. Additionally, the scholarship fund in Lonnie's name contributes annually to PPR's already established college scholarships awarded to one male and one female soccer senior who has been accepted to and enrolled in college. To date, we've awarded multiple scholarships and grants in both 2022 and again in 2023, and intend to support these awards annually and indefinitely. Lonnie was beloved by his colleagues, coworkers, and the numerous communities in which he served. His colleagues continue to find ways to celebrate his legacy. On July 21st, 2022, PPR and Hillside Rec Center staff, led by Brielle Harvey, Lonnie was Brielle's mentor at the time of his death, and Gina Badovic, organized, promoted, and ran the first annual Mini Masters golf outing, where Hillside families, colleagues, and friends came to Hillside to remember Lonnie and to help raise funds for the scholarship fund. There are a few places that Lonnie loved more than being on the golf course, so this annual themed event is perfect. Local businesses who knew Lonnie donated food and games, friends and colleagues sponsored the mini golf holes, and members of the Hillside Advisory Council pitched in to support by helping to secure raffle prizes and volunteering their services at this event. Renaming the Hillside Rec Center for Lonnie Cohen would rightly honor a man who has given so much to the city of Philadelphia, its youth, and its programs during his lifetime. Lonnie's significant contributions to PPR and Hillside communities are noteworthy. This honor would obviously mean the world to Lonnie's family, his friends, his colleagues, and the Hillside families. And we are humbled at the prospect of this happening. Any consideration you give to this is greatly appreciated. We thank you from the bottom of our hearts. And I can answer any questions that you have if anyone has them.
Well, thank you so much for your very heartfelt testimony. We can see that it's, still very new and hard for you. Lonnie, I have to say, Lonnie sounds like a wonderful person. I am sorry that I didn't have the opportunity and the pleasure to make his acquaintance. And so we offer our condolences. And I think that this is a way to make sure that Lonnie's memory and the work that he did is always remembered. So, we thank you for sharing a member of your family with the city of Philadelphia. And, we're just honored to be able to do this.
Thank you so much. We appreciate everything.
Absolutely. Any additional comments, questions? Okay. All right. Mr. Clerk, are there any additional speakers to speak on Bill number 220914?
Madam Chair, there is not.
Okay. That being said, we thank you for your testimony. And so, Mr. Clerk, will you please call forward the first panel to testify this morning on bill number 220972?
Madam Chair, we do not have anyone testifying on 220972.
Okay, we're gonna pause for one quick second. Can we pause our hearing and go into recess for just a moment, please? And I want to note for the record before we go into our break that Councilman Isaiah Thomas is present in the hearing. Thank you, Councilman. Of the committee and the viewing public for your patience this morning. It appears that there is no public testimony or administration testimony for bill number 220972. And so did any member of the committee have a question or comment regarding this bill, which I'm going to ask the clerk to read the title of the bill again, just to make sure that everybody's clear on what this bill is.
Bill number 220972, an ordinance amending an ordinance, bill number 877, approved September 16th, 1994, by amending an exhibit thereto in order to increase the limit of the amount of funding any entity may receive in any fiscal year from the Philadelphia Activities Fund.
Okay. Are there any members of council who have any questions or comments on this bill? Okay, and seeing none, hearing no further questions from members for this panel, we're going to ask if the clerk, are there any folks who want to connect to give public testimony? Were there any folks that we needed to connect to give public testimony at this time? Mr. Rogers?
Sorry, Madam Chair. No, I have not gotten word that there's anyone from the public commenting.
Okay, all right, very good. Let's see, okay. And since there are none, this concludes the hearing, and we're now going to go into the public meeting. There being no further questions from members of the committee and no other witnesses to testify on bill numbers 220914 and 220972. I will ask once again if there's anyone else present in this hearing whose name we have failed to call and that wishes to offer testimony on the bills being considered today. Hearing none, I want to thank the panels and witnesses for their participation today. We value your opinions, and I now invite all panels and witnesses to please disconnect from our hearing so that we can go into the public meeting on these bills. We will now pause the proceedings briefly as participants leave the hearing. Okay. And I believe everyone is now disconnected. This concludes the public hearing of the committee. We now go into a public meeting to consider the action to be taken on the bills before the committee today. As we now convene the public meeting, Mr. Clerk, will you please call the roll to take attendance again? Members that are in attendance, please indicate that you are present when your name is called. Also, please say a few brief words when responding so that your image will be displayed on screen when you speak. Mr. Rogers?
Councilmember Bass,
And present.
Councilmember Gaudier,
Councilwoman Gauthier, you're on mute.
okay.
The councilwoman is present, but her it seems she's having some difficulty with her mute button, maybe. So, but she is present.
Okay. Councilmember Brooks,
You're on mute, Councilwoman Brooks.
I'm present.
Councilmember Harity,
I am present.
Councilmember Johnson, Councilmember Jones,
Present, Madam Chair, colleagues.
and Councilmember Thomas.
Morning again, I'm present.
Okay. And okay, so we thank you. We have a quorum. I now move to our committee vice chair, Councilwoman Gauthier, for a motion on bills number 220914 and 220972. Councilwoman Gauthier?
She may be still.
She's having some difficulty. Councilman Jones, can I ask you to fill in her stead?
I would be honored if you send me the bill numbers.
Sure.
I will take care of that. None of them are amended, so that's no problem.
That is correct. 220914 and 220972. Hold on, I'm gonna send that to you right now.
I think I have it, Madam Chair, yes.
Very good.
All right,
So we call for a motion.
yes, you should.
Councilman Jones.
Thank you. I move that bill number 220914 be moved from this committee with a favorable recommendation. Further move that the rules of council be suspended to allow first reading of this bill at our next session of council.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded that bill number 220914 be voted from this favorable recommendation. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Is anyone
Aye.
opposed?
Aye.
Okay, seeing none, we now move that bill number 220914 be reported from this committee with a favorable recommendation and read at the next session of council. Councilman Jones, can we have a motion on bill number 220972?
Yes, Madam Chair. I move that bill number 220972 be reported from this committee with a favorable recommendation, and further move that the rules of council be suspended to permit first reading at our next session of council.
Can we get a second?
Second.
Okay, we have properly moved that bill number 220972 has been reported, or no, has been proposed to be removed from the committee, and that a favorable recommendation be offered to this bill with a suspension of the rules. All of those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
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 Is there anyone opposed? The ayes have it, and bill number 220972 is removed from this committee, reported from this committee with a favorable recommendation and a rule suspension for the next session of council. That being the business of this committee, that concludes the business of this committee on Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs. I want to thank everyone very much for their attendance today, and have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Have a great day.